Hello guys and welcome back to League One predictions. We are back again in the 3-game week. We've got predictions for the League One games at the weekend, and as always I'm joined by the wonderful Benjamin Bloom. How are you?
I feel like I'm in a washing machine with all the football, and from what you've just told me, we didn't do too well with the predictions, and the guys in the comments are definitely not going to have had to do too much to beat us this midweek.
It was a 4-4 draw, so let's flash that up on the screen. Neither of us set the world on fire, no bob-ons at all, but it does mean that the overall scores are still really close here, 92-94. Ben's leading just by 2 points. Before we get into the predictions, and there's some juicy games this weekend, guys, as always. Let's go for some big support. Make sure you have hit the like button. It takes 2 seconds and it just really helps the video perform. We'll go for 1,000 likes. Of course, make sure you are subscribed over here to get more League One predictions every week with myself and Benjamin Bloom. And please do take 2 seconds to make sure you're subscribed to Benjamin Bloom. The first link in the description for more Premier League, Championship, and, a little bit of League One content over there. Sometimes we've got the likes of Birmingham City as well. Let's get into the predictions, Ben. We start with Birmingham City. They go away to Mansfield. And it's one of those games, Ben, where you think you can maybe make a case for Birmingham possibly not winning. But I don't know. Are we both going to go for Birmingham to win?
I suspect we probably are, but this is with great admiration for what Mansfield are doing. They won at Wigan last night. I've just had a look at the numbers. It looked a little bit smashy and grabby, but the Mansfield fans maybe correct me if I'm wrong. But you just can't knock it, and that's what winning momentum does to you, Matt, doesn't it? When you're in a game, you win it, and when you're Mansfield and you're in a game, you win it this season. And 23 points from 11, they're over 2 points per game. It is outstanding, and yes, this is me all setting it up with all the compliments to predict the defeat that's going to be coming in from my lips. Look, it's so high on Birmingham. They're in outrageous form. You know, think also these teams were 2 leagues apart last year. So even though it's a great matchup with Mansfield, the hot hand at the moment in terms of a promoted team doing really well, I'm going to predict a Birmingham win again. Mansfield's always good fun. So we go Mansfield 1, Birmingham 3.
And we have a scribble already.
Yes, we do.
See, I completely agree with all of your logic there. Mansfield are fun. I think they will score. Birmingham, I fancy to win. And I also think, no disrespect to Mansfield, but it could be by 2 goals. So do I tone it down and go for a 1-2? I think I will, because I don't fancy the 2-3 because I've already got a bonus point lined up later. So I will tone it down and go Mansfield 1. Birmingham City 2, but I did really fancy that 3-1. But Ben's taking it.
Them's the rules, mate. Them's the rules.
I think we're starting to see now, Ben, Birmingham stretching into the distance a bit. I think they're already 4 ahead of second place and 5 ahead of third place. And considering they played a game less than Wrexham as well, so incredible from Birmingham. Next up, Ben, Reading versus Bristol Rovers. They were both winners in midweek as well. Let's give Reading quite a bit of credit. Neither of us backed them to win at Exeter. That's a really good win. And Bristol Rovers, of course, they beat Shrewsbury Town at home. We both did go for the Shrewsbury win, but we didn't get the score bob on. I think Bristol Rovers could get a goal, but I really like Reading at home. And we've spoken about the fact that they've scored a few goals. I won't go too crazy here, Ben. I'm just going to go Reading 2-1.
Yeah, great wins for both of them. And given how high we've been on Exeter in recent weeks, for Reading to go there and get the away win last night, it's absolutely tremendous. So they are on for the fabled 9-point week. They've done it with both teams to score in both games so far. Did you take the 2-1, Matt?
I have, yes.
Yeah, that feels likely, doesn't it? Okay, in which instance? Oh, God, it's both teams to score every week. I can't not do it, can I? I wanted the 2-1. I'll have to take the 3-1. Reading 3, Bristol Rovers 1. And fair play, Bristol Rovers, another victory for them last night over Shrewsbury as well. But I'm going to back Reading.
Yeah, Bristol Rovers has not been a bad team this season. But I don't know, man. I'm starting to look at Reading in the table. They've moved up to 7th place now.
Stuck up there, haven't they?
Yeah, another team going under the radar. But it is so tight in the middle of the table that any team that puts 2 wins together and we're like, oh, they're in the playoffs now. So it's incredible. The next game, Ben, this is an interesting one. Bolton versus Peterborough, 2 traditionally good teams at League One level over the last few years. Bolton, I don't want to go in too hard on them. They lost to Birmingham City. They did take quite a big following to St Andrews, so fair play to them for that. But Peterborough, Ben, 5-1 against Blackpool. I mean, what a result that is. You did get a point for backing Peterborough to win, but I don't think any of us were ever going to call a 5-1 to Peterborough. What do you have to say on this one?
Well, I have to say, Joel Randall, the Peterborough 14, got the most beautiful, filthy assist in that game. I was checking the goals just earlier this morning. I just want to float the 0-0 because this one absolutely stinks of goals, doesn't it? So I can't really separate the 2 teams. I'm expecting goals. I need to drop a bonus point in. So let's go Bolton 3, Peterborough 3.
Oh, I like it, Ben. There goes the bonus point. I think I've already mapped out how I'm going to play these predictions. And do you know what? Maybe I should have gone for a bonus point here, but I'm not going to. I agree with both teams to score. I agree with the draw, but I am going considerably less entertaining with the 1-1 here.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I don't know who I'm leaning towards more. I mean, Bolton have been improving, and I don't want to look too much into a defeat against Birmingham. But that result for Peterborough is quite something. I think both could do with a win, really, to get moving in the right direction. But, yeah, we're both going for a draw. So share your thoughts on that one. Ben, it's the bottom 2 facing off next, Cambridge versus Burton. But Cambridge United, back-to-back 2-0 wins. So they come into this as strong favourites now, surely.
They do, don't they? And they are surely going to be... I mean, even if they got 6 points for the 3-game week, then we'd be making them our team of the week. If they get 7 or 9, that is utterly sensational. And you'd make them favourites to do it. What are you saying, Matt?
Do you know what? I'm going to continue with what they've been doing. Back-to-back 2-0 wins. Let's go for a third. 2-0 Cambridge win. Burton have got to get something now. They've got to get something now because they are... still winless. They lost 3-2 to Wycombe in midweek. Doesn't seem like they're having massive problems scoring goals, but certainly conceding quite a few. And yeah, if Cambridge win this, then Cambridge all of a sudden look like they've got a real chance of moving away, and Burton might get left behind. And we've spoken about before, if you're 24th in League One, you can feel a long way away from safety. And yeah, credit to Cambridge. They've been great lately. So 2-0.
Yeah, that's a scribble from me. So I'll just give Burton a goal because they are pretty all right going forward for a team that's not winning and bottom of the league, frankly. But yeah, I'll go Cambridge 2-1, and all hail Cambridge if they win 3 in a row in a week without having won all season. Outstanding.
I know, to think they were on 1 point and they might suddenly blast up to 10 points in a week.
EFL, mate, EFL.
Yeah. But that's the beauty of a 3-game week sometimes. You know, if you win all 3, goodness me, you go moving up the table. All right, this is really tasty. Charlton versus Wrexham, Ben. Charlton were involved in a dramatic draw at Oakwell last night. It looked as if they might have snatched it because they scored in stoppage time to then go on and concede in stoppage time as well. And Wrexham also drew in midweek. They drew 0-0 with Huddersfield. So, what are you thinking?
I'm thinking I'm finding this one particularly hard to call. It's a bit of a struggle. If it was being played in Wales, I think I'd be on the home win fairly comfortably. But, oh dear, Charlton have proved me wrong a few times. Do you know what? I will back Wrexham. I just think they might be too strong. But this is probably the one in this bunch of fixtures I've struggled with the most, Matt. I'll go 1-0 Wrexham. I'll go Charlton 0, Wrexham 1, but I'm really not sure at all.
Yeah, it doesn't feel like there's a lot in this, does there? Yeah, it feels weird when Wrexham don't win. Obviously, they didn't in midweek. Charlton, I can't quite figure Charlton out. They were really good at the start of the season, still got the potential to be outstanding because they beat Birmingham City, of course, but not stringing together too many wins. But I have been guilty of going for Wrexham a lot, and let's try and be fair here. I will go for a draw this time. I'm going to play the 1-1 because to me it looks, like you say, a little bit close to call. I could see Wrexham snatching it as you've gone for, but I'm going to go for the 1-1. I've just noticed neither of us have gone for many Charlton 1-0 wins lately, but they're not doing it as much, I guess. So let's go for the draw. I'm up first for the next one, Ben. It's Huddersfield Town versus Exeter City. Exeter we've enjoyed. Actually, looking at the table, are they both in the playoffs coming to this one? They are, 5th versus 6th. What a matchup.
Great game.
Exeter have enjoyed, but they lost to Reading at home. Do they need to make up for it by trying to get something here at Huddersfield? I suppose Huddersfield will look on that 0-0 at Wrexham as not a bad result. I don't know. I think they've got to build on it with a win now. Like we said, if Huddersfield are going to try and close that gap on Wrexham, they can't afford too many draws and defeats at this early stage anymore. Bonus point alert, Huddersfield 3, Exeter 2.
Excellent. Love that. I'm going to back Huddersfield as well. I think they're going to think they're in form now after the sticky patch, and I think they're going to think little bump in the road out the way. This would have been harder if Exeter hadn't, kind of come a cropper last night at home to Reading, but that makes life easier for me to go all in on Huddersfield. You've taken the 3-2. I'll go a more simplistic one. I'll go Huddersfield 2, Exeter 0.
Yeah, another clean sheet for the Terriers would be great. Share your thoughts on that one, guys. Like I say, 2 teams in the playoffs. Next up, Ben, we've got 2 teams just outside the playoffs with Lincoln City versus Stockport. It did feel like up until about game week 10, they were both in the playoffs. Both maybe just gone off it a little bit, not stringing together too many wins. Lincoln City, goodness me, that was a terrible result losing to Crawley. We'll give Crawley their flowers, as you say, in the next game. But they've got to bounce back from that. Stockport will also be frustrated because obviously they conceded a late equaliser against Northampton. What are you saying?
Feels like a low scorer, doesn't it? 2 sides that defend well. So it's either under 1.5 or 2.5. I'll say under 2.5. And I haven't thrown one of those up, Matt. So I'll go right on the fence here. I don't think Stockport will win it, but I'll go for them to get a point. Lincoln 1, Stockport 1.
Yeah, we're thinking similar here. I'm going to go for under 1.5. I think there's going to be a winner. And I'm just looking at Stockport. I just think they might edge it 1-0. So I'll go for Stockport 1-0. Maybe a sense of 2 points dropped against Northampton. They're frustrated. They want a response. But I'll tell you what, Lincoln City sure need a response after that defeat in midweek. But if they play anything like that, maybe they'll lose again. So I will go for the away team. This one looks like an interesting one to predict. Northampton Town versus Crawley Town, Ben. Honestly, I don't know what to think for this because Northampton Town are definitely the hardest team to put your finger on. We'll give them credit, a decent draw away at Stockport, especially the fact that they equalised right at the end. But Ben, Crawley Town, what a win. We did not see that coming.
I think that's worthy of an apology. So Crawley hadn't won since August the 17th in all comps, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. So it was their first win in 13 games in all competitions. And Lincoln are good. And it's not like they've just been losing. They've been getting, conceded 4, 5 and 4 in the 3 games prior. So it's a tricky one because, fair play Crawley, but that does smell of an outlier. You don't now assume Crawley are now going to go on a winning run, having not won in 13. So I will be back in Northampton for that reason. But with complete love to Crawley for a brilliant, brilliant win last night. Let's go tight. Northampton 1, Crawley 0.
Yeah, I think that could happen, but I'm really not sure with this one because I feel like you've just said, I need to say a massive apology to the Crawley fans. I mean, what a great result. Is it something that's going to be built on here? Northampton Town are definitely one of the hardest teams to put your finger on. I think this could be bonkers. And I'm wondering if I should go for another bonus point. I know you've gone for the 1-0, but I think I might do something I don't.
Matt, if the question is ever, should I go for a bonus point? The answer is always yes.
Okay, well, let's do this. I don't think I've ever done this before, and I'm not sure if I'll ever do this again. Northampton 3, Crawley 4. Let's...
I thought you were going 3-3. Mate, if that comes in, I'm going to be benevolent here. That's a 5-pointer if that comes in, not a 4-pointer. That's sensational. I'll give you an extra bonus point.
People are going to think I'm arrogant and stupid and all sorts, but it's worth a go. I don't think I'll do that very often, but like I say, two teams I struggle to predict sometimes. Let's have a bit of fun and go for a 3-4. Ben, Rotherham United versus Stevenage. It's not getting any better for Rotherham, Ben. They lost away at Leyton Orient, and there was a little run where they weren't losing many. They were drawing quite a few, but now I think that's back-to-back defeats for Rotherham, so... It's desperate, isn't it? And it's actually Stevenage, Steve Evans' former team that have come into town. Ooh, give me a quick word on this before we do a prediction.
Feels like a tipping point for Evans, doesn't it? It's not going to go over well with Rotherham fans if he... And I think they'll start to be looking at Tony Bloom, the owner. If you're taking the manager from the team and then you lose at home to the team you took him from, a lot of people are just going to say it's not working this time around. The fit's not right. Act now. I genuinely think that will be the feeling if Rotherham lose. So huge game. And yeah, I've watched a little bit of the interview from last night, and he's always spiky, Evans, but he sounded like a man under massive pressure.
Yeah, you're right. Even when they win, he's spiky. But this is far from winning. I mean, wow, they're so far down the table. I mean, the expectations were almost minimum playoffs, weren't they, from us? And to see how far away they are, they have to win 4 or 5 in a row just to get back to looking, I don't know, in a credible position. I can really smell a Stevenage win here, Ben. But let's go for Steve Evans to save himself, because I want him to be featured in these League One videos we do. Rotherham 2, Stevenage 1.
Yeah, that's a scribble for me, Matt. And I had it all set up as the narrative that Stevenage might even take the lead and Rotherham might just scrape a comeback somehow. And, you know, he gets a stay of execution, so to speak, if you do think he's as close to the edge as I do. So I still want to back Rotherham by 1 goal. I don't think it's going to be 3-2, so I'll go 1-0 Rotherham. But this feels like probably the biggest game of the weekend, I think.
It does. It really does feel like, you know how with Bolton, we had that point where we thought, oh, Ian Everett's out if they don't win the next one. And then they did.
5-2, didn't they? Yeah.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. Was it against Reading or something? Huddersfield. They lost 4-0 to Huddersfield, didn't they, I think?
Yeah, that's it, yeah.
But yeah, I really, I mean, I can't speak for the owners at Rotherham, but my goodness me, I think if they lose that, that's surely Steve Evans. You could pop a fork in him at that point. Next one, Ben, Shrewsbury Town versus Barnsley. Surely we're going for an away win here. But what's the scoreline going to be?
Yeah, I mean, I've backed against Shrewsbury fairly consistently this season and generally been right. Barnsley are still, I don't know, they're still a bit unpredictable, still a bit stripy. Do you know what? I'll buck the trend here. I'll go for an unhelpful draw then in that case. I think you're going to take, so I'll play a bit tactically. I'm under the assumption that you're going to take Barnsley. I will go for a second consecutive Desmond for Barnsley. I can see they often concede 2 goals, put it that way, Barnsley, from what I'm looking at on my iPad at the moment. Once, twice, 3, 4 in the last 5 in all comps. So I'll play the Desmond here and say 2-2.
Yeah, I am going to go for the away win, but I suppose a similar game. I'm going to go Shrewsbury 1, Barnsley 2. So maybe it's going to be 2-1 going into the final minutes, and I'll have my eye on this game thinking, is Ben going to steal the prediction if Shrewsbury equalise? On the whole, Barnsley, pretty good. But as you say, seem to be conceding goals for fun. That's probably one of the problems with why they're not quite right up there. But I'm just really struggling with Shrewsbury. Every time I try and give them something, they let me down. In fairness to them, they only lost 1-0 to Bristol Rovers, and I think they missed a penalty as well, so they could have got something there, but they didn't, of course. The next one, Ben, Wycombe Wanderers versus Leyton Orient. Now, credit to Leyton Orient. What a great win in midweek. They beat Rotherham, and they need that. They need results to climb away, because if Cambridge and who else down there has been picking up a couple of results, Crawley, they start getting results, we might see a change down at the bottom soon. So Leyton Orient need to keep churning out results, but they're away at inform Wycombe, Ben, and Wycombe win again in midweek.
Yeah, Wycombe are red hot, aren't they? And we're very much over the past few editions of this show been going with that trend, haven't we?
Yeah, we certainly have. I'll dive straight in. I fancy Wycombe. Once again, credit to Leyton Orient for the win in midweek, but I'm not going against Wycombe, the form they're in. Wycombe Wanderers 2-0.
Yeah, I'll go even more comfortable. And we've got to endorse what Wycombe are doing. I don't think Leyton Orient's season's defined away at top 6 sides, and they've shown they can win home games, particularly in midweek. Leyton Orient midweek home editions. I think that works well for them. Brisbane Road. I'll take the 3-0 then. Sorry, Orient fans. Wycombe 3, Orient 0. But I've got to go all in on Wycombe at the moment. Yeah,
completely agree. I mean, at the top of the table, Birmingham City have been top for some weeks now. Wrexham have been second for quite a few weeks now, but Wycombe are only 1 point behind them and with a game in hand. So
Mansfield snuck in at one point, didn't they? Did they go second at one point, Mansfield?
Mansfield have been up to third, I believe.
Okay.
Wrexham are just sort of hanging on to second at the minute, I suppose. And then we'll finish off, Ben, with two teams in the bottom half. A Lancashire matchup between Blackpool and Wigan. This is really difficult, Ben, because with Blackpool, obviously the sad news. I don't want to say if it is affecting what's happened on the pitch.
Of course, it's affecting it. When your boss has been through something like that, it has to affect it, doesn't it? The players.
It's such a shame, though.
Players are human beings, aren't they? They've got to be, they've got to be kind of empathetic to their boss. So I think it does affect it. Yeah, not an excuse, but just let's just be real about it. It's a terrible thing that's been around the news that's happened to your boss, and you have to go work. And obviously, it didn't go so well on Tuesday, did it, for Blackpool?
No, it certainly didn't. I don't really know what to say at this point. I'm sure they'll turn it back around at some point, because they had been in such good form and we'd really been enjoying this Blackpool rise up the table. But all of a sudden, they find themselves down the table quite far down now, actually. And I'm not sure what to go off, given that 5-1 defeat away at Peterborough. Wigan also lost. They lost 2-1 at home to Mansfield. I believe you're up first for this one, Ben. So how are you going to round this out?
I'm going to round it out by calling a home win. I think I trust Blackpool. I know you're right to mention the adversity around the club at the moment, but I just trust Blackpool more than I trust Wigan, because at their best, Wigan have been just really stoic and hard to play against and kept a load of clean sheets. And, it feels like that'll only get you so far, being hard to beat. And, I think Blackpool can shut them out and get the win. So I will take a 1-0. Blackpool 1, Wigan 0.
Yeah, I like that. And it'd be nice to see Blackpool get back on track. I'm going to go for an unhelpful draw. I think both have got to look at this as we need to start winning, because surely they've both, if they could both be at their best for a large portion of this season, I could see either of these being a playoff contender.
Agreed.
But there is so much traffic in the way now, considering Blackpool and Wigan are both now to 16th and 18th. It's incredible. Like I said, there's so many teams that are congested in the middle here that they have to start getting wins. But I'm going to go for an unhelpful 1-1 draw here. Like I said, I'd love to see Blackpool get back to winning ways. Wigan don't tend to concede too many. Maybe a draw as something to build on. But there you go. I'll go down the middle. And that wraps up our League One predictions. Like I say, we like to see what you guys have to say. Let us know how you get on in the comments. Copy and paste from the description down to the comments. And also, while you're there, make sure you've dropped a like and subscribed to two wonderful YouTubers, Matt SB and Benjamin Bloom. Like I say, check out the first link in the description where they can find what kind of content, Ben. Let them know.
Well, they can see your handsome face as well, Matt, because we did the Championship check-in, Premier League check-in. No, Championship check-ins on Monday. Premier League check-in yesterday. Had a look at Leicester City in the Premier League. And for all of you EFL heads, which you probably are if you're watching this show, we do tend to concentrate on the relegation picture and teams that have been in the EFL and maybe coming back to or visiting the EFL next season. So, yeah, I'd recommend that wholeheartedly. And Matt will put out a clip from the show each week on his channel. So even if you're not necessarily a Premier League fan, if you want to support both myself and Matt, my recommendation would be the Premier League Check-In podcast with the two of us every Tuesday over on my channel.
Yeah, honestly, guys, please do get involved, because if you're over here watching my content and you somehow haven't seen Benjamin Bloom's, he is honestly one of the biggest inspirations for my own channel. So please do get involved. Other than that, thank you once again for your great support. We'll see you next time for more League One predictions. Take care. Peace out.